Hi friends, hello, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing great. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Encrypted Memories. Today I will be talking about I'll be talking on part 3 of the video about my pregnancy complication. Part 1 spoke about like everything before the surgery. Part 2 spoke about the surgery, and part 3 I'll be talking about after I was discharged home and my labor and delivery. And after this part, I will just be loading up any other video that comes up in our life. But then the part 1, 2, and 3 was the focus about the pregnancy complication and the surgery and delivery. So today I'll be talking on today's video will be part 3. It will be on what happened after I was discharged home and how my labor and delivery went. So after the surgery, I was in the hospital for like 2 days and I was sent home. When we came home, the wound was healing, like there wasn't any complication, no issue. Everything went really smoothly until at about 38 weeks. Yeah, 38 weeks. I started having like those little tiny contractions. I think this was like a Friday evening, and a friend of mine had recommended that when you're almost due and you start having like those tiny contractions, you can amplify them by drinking, making like a concoction. It was just lemon, warm water, and honey. That's just it. And I made that drink, I drank it, and we were living on the first floor. So after I drank that, I walked like to the third floor, came back down, went back up to the third floor with the stairs, came back down like 5 times, I think. And contraction were not really serious, and I had like a I felt like I peed on myself. And I wasn't sure what that was, so I was like, well, the last time I went for my appointment, my doctor said I was 3 centimeters dilated and I wasn't having any contraction. When I went for the last OBG appointment, they said I was 3 centimeters dilated. I was like, okay, maybe because I'm dilated, I pee can just come out, a urine can just come out like that. And I was going about doing my normal things, and I knew that after I gave birth, things would be really hard for me. So I prepared myself. I cooked different kinds of dishes. I made lots of food, put them in big bowls, and filled them up in the freezer. Like the freezer was just filled up with lots of food because I didn't know how my postpartum was going to be. And on that Friday evening, that was November 27th, I sat down to do like final laundry. I already had my bags, my hospital bags packed, everything arranged. But then there was this final pack of baby clothes that I just recently got, and I had washed them and I was folding them. And suddenly a big gush of liquid just came out of me, and it was, I don't know how to describe it, but it was a lot. It just came out like a really big gush of fluid came out. And with my first pregnancy, my water did not break on its own. They had to break my water at the hospital because I was having contraction without my water breaking. No discharge, no blood issue, anything like that. So for my second, my water broke, and I didn't know that my water broke. And but for this time around, like the previous leaks, I wasn't sure if it was my water that broke, but this one, that was like big gush of fluid came out, and I was sitting on the couch, and the couch was so soaked. That was when I realized that my water had broke. But I wasn't having any contractions at all. No contraction. I told my husband that I think my water broke. And since I was not having any contraction, I was like, okay, I'll just wait. I didn't call my doctor or anything like that because I didn't want to go to the hospital and be there for so many hours. And I waited. I folded the clothes, make sure I had my bag arranged, and went to bed. I woke up the next morning, and that was the next morning that I was planning that I would go to the hospital. My water broke like 11 p.m. Friday night. I woke up like 6 a.m. the next morning, got my bag, and as time was going, I started having like the contractions got like started getting really serious. The previous night I wasn't having any contraction, but when I woke up at 6, I started having contractions, and it was progressing. Like every 5 minutes the intensity will get worse. Every 5 minutes the intensity will get worse. I jumped into the showered, and then my husband was still like dragging himself behind because I don't know, men are always slow with it. Like you always have to push them. So I got so angry because the contraction was so intense. Like I only managed like it was really getting serious. I got everything like we I was like timing the contraction, looking at the minutes, but it got to a point where I couldn't time it. Like I couldn't even follow up because the pain was like the interval was so short that I couldn't even time it, and the pain, the intensity was getting really, really severe. And when I got into the car, I could not even sit properly because I think the baby was already down there in my cervix. Like he was down there. I couldn't even sit properly. That's how I was hanging on the door and just managing for us to get to the hospital. And just like in the previous video, we had our first daughter with us. We didn't have anyone to leave her with that early morning, and my husband dropped me off at the entrance of the emergency room. I went in there, and the guard looked at me and was like, what's happening? I told him I'm in labor. He brought a wheelchair and pushed me up to the maternity, the floor. I don't know what floor that is in the hospital. He pushed me to the floor. When I got there, my husband had to go around, look for who will be available that he can leave our daughter with. And while after dropping her off with a friend, while he was still trying to come back, I was there in the hospital, and the contractions were getting so severe. When I got into the room, that because there was like a waiting room before you go to push, there was like a waiting room. I was in that waiting room, and when they came to check, another gush of fluid came out. I think this one was so much. It was like I was carrying a bucket of water with me. And when they checked, I was 10 centimeters dilated. Like I was ready to push. The baby was ready to come out. The people at the front desk were like, can I have your insurance? I do not have time to give any insurance, anything. There was no time to be filling out any forms or filling any documents. And I was supposed to get an IV because I tested positive for group B streptococcus, and when you have that, they always give you antibiotics like prophylactic before you deliver the baby. But the baby came so fast. Like I was in the hospital for like 30 minutes. The baby came so fast, there was no time to put any IV on me. I didn't get any painkiller, anything. And since I was 10 centimeters dilated and the baby was all the way down there, they just moved me to the delivery room, put me on the bed, and I gave the like we said, when you feel the contractions, you push. So I felt the contraction the first time I pushed, it didn't come out. And the second time, I tried again, I pushed again, he still didn't come up. And the third time, and the good thing was that they had nurses there that will help you push your leg, like push it inward. I think when they push the leg inward, it gives like pressure to the cervix and it helps. And they really helped the third time, and he came out like not just the head, like he just came out, his entire body just came out, and I felt really great. So when he came out, laid him on my chest, cleaned him up, cleaned him up, cleaned him up, and he cried, and he didn't have any issue. He weighed 7 pounds 7 ounces, and the nurse helped me. The doctor, whoever was delivering me, I don't remember it was a doctor or delivery nurse. They delivered the placenta, and after you give birth, they weigh whatever amount of blood that comes out of you, they weigh the part to make sure you're not bleeding too much. And before they let you go to your room, they make sure you are able to use the bathroom. And one advice that I will give is to anybody that is having a baby, especially for the first time, is that after you have the baby, you should never try to walk on your own. Like after delivering that baby, you should never try to get up and walk on your own, because that baby has come out lots. You've also lost lots of blood, and if you try to walk on your own, you would fall. You will feel dizzy and you will fall down. So after when I had the urge to use the bathroom, the nurse assisted me. I went to the bathroom, came back. I was so dizzy. I think because of the sudden drop in your blood pressure. I think I'm not a medical professional to prove that, but I know that after you give birth, you lose lots of blood, you lose lots of fluids, and even your weight also drops because a 7-pound baby just came out of you. So that sudden drop in weight will cause that instability in your balance. So you need time for your body to like get used to your new weight. And they took me now to my recovery room where I'll stay there, and they did his tests, checked the ears, checked everything on him, and everything was great. He was perfect. Everything was great. He didn't have any issues, anything like that. And we left the hospital. I gave birth on Saturday, and yeah, because I didn't get a chance to receive prophylactic antibiotic, they made us stay in the hospital for, that was the whole of Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, because they wanted to observe him to make sure that the group B streptococcus didn't affect him in any way. And on Tuesday, they said, okay, you guys can leave. And that was it. We left the hospital, came back home. The tiny little baby, he was a cry boy. He would cry and cry and cry and cry. And I am not the super strong type after birth. I am super weak. I was in so much pain. My entire back, like my spine, from my waist to the back of my neck, and on my arms, my head, like every atom of muscle on my body was hurting. Partly because I just gave birth, and another reason, this boy cried. He would, like some babies have like really long stretches of naps when they are very young, but he wasn't doing that. He wasn't having those long stretches of naps, so he would just be crying all the time. I have to carry him, and it wasn't easy. And when it was like 8 days postpartum, I had this migraine that was so bad. Like I couldn't even turn my head. I felt like blood was going to pump out of my head. Like it was like something was banging on the head. It was so horrible. And I also had severe back pain that was going all the way to my chest. And I thought that I had developed heart problem. I thought my heart was failing. I went back to the hospital. They did put me in a scanning machine. Like I went into a machine that scanned my entire body and my head and everything. And when you go to the emergency room, you do have to spend some wait. You wait, then you go do your lab, and then you come back and you wait for the result. I was there for like 8 hours. Good thing on that day, he didn't really cry that much. He slept most of the time. And they first of all came, they gave me, after they ran the test, they came back, they gave me a painkiller. It was like, it didn't work at all. That was just like, I don't know, you put a drop of water in the ocean. And then they came and they gave me a stronger painkiller. I felt like, whoo, I haven't even given birth. I felt so strong. And then the results came out, and they told me that no, I don't have any problem with my heart. I don't have any problem with any organ on my body. My body was just hurting because of the stress after giving birth. And if any of you viewers, you have any friend or family, anyone that is going to give birth and you want to help them, my advice is the highest time that you can help them is that first month after delivery. That is the highest time when they need you, because their body is just trying to recover. I had like 2 or 3 stitches after I gave birth, so I already had pains down there. I had to use a peri bottle after I used a bathroom to like spray and clean, and it also helped. And we also had a pad that was filled all over with ice, and you just put it down there. The ice will help to cool it, and it helped relieve the pain. I came back home with some of the pads. I used them for some days. I also use disposable underwears, because you know when you're bleeding and you don't want to deal with that mess. I think I also got some disposable underwears for myself, in addition to the one that they gave me at the hospital. And all of that really helped when I came back home, because I didn't have to bother washing underwear that had any stain on it or anything like that. So after I post this video, I will post a video with some pictures of everything from part 1 to part 3. I wasn't able to like incorporate pictures into this video because I formatted my phone and I didn't really have much of those memories, but I made a video before formatting my phone. So I'll post that video like a couple of days after I post this one, so that anyone that watched from part 1 all the way to part 3, when you watch that video, it will make sense to you. And 1 week before my labor started, my Christian friends arranged a surprise baby shower for me. I was so happy. I was so overwhelmed. In fact, I have never received that kind of surprise in my entire life. Like, I felt so blessed, and it was such an amazing feeling. I did an account on Amazon, and they went there and they bought everything that I had in, almost everything that I had in that list. And they came to our apartment, and they made a table with some few like with some cupcakes and things like that, candies, and it was so nice. I felt so loved because during COVID, it was really hard for people to meet. Sometimes you face like hard times, but you don't even have anyone to like come to your aid because everyone was so scared. But they pushed that on the side and they showed up for us. It was such an amazing feeling. They got us so many gifts. I changed my phone, so I did not even, I don't have like pictures of that, but it was such a very nice feeling. And after I had the baby, people still gave me lots of gifts. I think the cash, if I can like give like a guess on the amount of money that I received, it was something close to like $2,000. I also received um like this cards with notes on it, with so many like a beautiful message. It was so good. And I received so many diapers, to the point that I didn't have to buy diapers until my son was 18 months. You can imagine. The diapers that I received, I used until he was like 18 months. And I also received wipes. I didn't have to buy wipes until he was 22 months old. The amount of gifts I received, and people also gave us food in addition to the one I had in the refrigerator. I didn't have to cook for one whole month, like one full month. I didn't even have to worry about cooking because we had lots of food. Our friends, our family showed up for us with so much. I am so grateful. I am beyond overjoyed with how much love and support they showed us. It shows how much people care about us, because sometimes we just sit here and we feel like nobody cares and nothing like that. But people prove that even though you can be far away from home, because I miss my mom and my family so much, but the way the friends showed up for us, I didn't feel like I was away from home. I felt like I was home, even though I am very far away from home. I just want to use this opportunity. If any of the people who gave us those gifts are watching, I want to use this opportunity to thank you immensely. Thank you so much for the gifts. We are so grateful. We were so grateful. We will continue to be grateful for everything. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for um, listening to my story. This would be the end of my story of ovarian cyst, pregnancy, and delivery. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer that for you. If you are just a viewer and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe, because that helps the channel grow. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing. Until next time, this is Encrypted Memories. Bye. Take care.